Their mother sacrificed everything, even selling her only home to give them a future. Years later, they returned as powerful lawyers, but peace didn't last long. When they reopened their father's case, dark secrets rose to the surface. Secrets that proved his death was no accident. Someone close wanted him dead, and the moment the twins pushed for justice, their uncles launched a deadly attack on them. What they uncovered next will shock you. Will they get justice? Will their uncle succeed with his evil plans? Let's find out. Before we begin, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss our emotional and suspenseful stories. Agnes never imagined peace could feel so strange. For years, she woke up to the smell of poverty, the weight of responsibility, and the sharp sting of memories. But now she woke up on a soft, queen-size bed, wrapped in silk sheets inside the mansion her daughters had bought for her. Yet even in comfort, her heart trembled. Wealth could change her surroundings, but it couldn't erase the scars of the past. Every time she closed her eyes, she still saw Cheeky, smiling, wiping sweat from his face after a long day, lifting their twins high into the air. And every time she remembered how he died, her heart shattered all over again. But Ada and Amara were the fire that kept her standing. New lawyers, smart, fearless, determined. And today, the biggest battle of their lives was beginning. Agnes sat in the living room, her hands shaking slightly as she watched her daughters dress in their crisp black suits. Their wigs sat neatly on the table, their law books arranged beside them. They moved with a quiet confidence that made her chest swell with pride. "Mummy," Ada said softly as she adjusted her collar, "today is the beginning of justice." Amara nodded, her eye burning with fire. "We are filing the suit against our uncles. No going back." Agnes's throat tightened. "My children, are you sure? Those men, they are dangerous." Ada knelt beside her. "Mummy, we are not little girls anymore. We know the risk, but Daddy deserves justice." Agnes closed her eyes as tears escaped. She had prayed for this moment, but fear clung to her heart like a shadow. "God will guide you," she whispered. The twins hugged her tightly as they picked up their gowns and wigs. "Today, Mummy," Amara said, "marks the end of their wickedness." The court filing. The courthouse was bustling with lawyers, clerks, journalists, and police officers. But when the twins walked in, tall, confident, and strikingly identical, heads turned. Whispers followed them. "Who are they? Are they new? They're so bold. They walk like they're ready to fight the whole world." And they were. The twins walked straight to the filing office, placed their documents on the counter, and said, "We want to file a suit for unlawful inheritance seizure, property theft, assault, financial manipulation, and attempted harm." The clerk's eyes widened as she scanned the pages. This is against your father's brothers?" Ada nodded firmly. "Yes, we have evidence. Powerful evidence. Documents they dug up from the probate registry, receipts their father kept hidden, land transfer papers, bank statements, and testimonies waiting to explode." The clerk swallowed. "This will shake the whole community." Amara smiled coldly. "That is exactly what we want." It didn't take long for the news to reach them. Okafor, the eldest uncle, tall, dark, with a permanent scowl, heard it first. He threw his bottle of beer against the wall in rage. "Those useless girls! They dare challenge me!" The other brother, Obina, trembled with fear. "I told you we should leave them alone. These girls are lawyers now. Professionals. We can't fight them in court." Okafor grabbed him by the collar. "Coward. If they think they are smart, we must show them who owns power." That night, Ada sat at her desk reviewing their father's old documents. Something about his death had always bothered her, a feeling she buried as a child but now resurfaced with force. "Mara," she whispered, "come and see this." Amara rushed over, brows furrowed. "What is it?" Ada placed a grease-stained paper on the table. "This is Daddy's last service record from the mechanic workshop, dated 2 days before his death. So, look at the note at the bottom. He wrote, 'If anything happens to me, check the brakes.'" Amara's heart stopped. Why would Daddy write that? Ada swallowed hard, because someone threatened him. The twins took the paper straight to a retired mechanic who once worked with their father. The old man read it and froze. "Your father told me someone was after him," he whispered. "He didn't say who, but he said it was someone close, someone from the family, someone who hated that he loved his wife too much." The twins exchanged horrified glances. Ada whispered, "Mommy?" Amara finished the thought. "She was the reason someone wanted Daddy dead?" The mechanic nodded slowly. "I believe so." Their blood ran cold. Meanwhile, the uncle's plot, Okafor paced in his living room, breathing like a caged animal. "If they win this case, we lose everything," he hissed. "The land, the company, the rental houses, the money. Everything." Obana trembled. "We shouldn't have taken everything from their mother. We shouldn't have—" Slap! Okafor struck him across the face. "Don't grow a conscience now." He leaned closer. "We must stop those girls. If they continue this case, we're finished." Obina whispered shakily, What do we do?" Okafor grinned wickedly. "We send boys after them. They will learn fear." Bena staggered backward. "You want to harm your own brother's daughters?" Okafor spat. "They are not my brother's daughters. They are the reason he died." Bana froze. What do you mean?" Okafor's eyes darkened, his voice dropping to a chilling whisper. "I told Agnes to sleep with me. She refused. Chaik insulted me. So I dealt with him. I tampered with the brakes myself." Obina felt the ground shift beneath him. You killed him?" Okafor sneered. "Just watch me handle his daughters." Obana collapsed into a chair, shaking violently. The darkest truth had been revealed. The ambush begins. That same night, as the twins drove home after gathering evidence, a black van began trailing them. Amara noticed it first. "Ada, that car has been behind us since the junction." Ada tightened her grip on the steering wheel. "Don't panic." But when the van accelerated suddenly and attempted to block them, the truth became undeniable. Men jumped out with weapons. "Mara, run!" The night exploded with danger. The street was unusually quiet, swallowed in the kind of darkness that made even streetlights look afraid. Ada drove, her eyes fixed on the road, while Amara glanced intermittently at the rearview mirror. The black van was still behind them. At first, they tried to convince themselves it was coincidence. But when Ada turned into another street and the van followed, then turned again and it still followed. The fear in the car thickened like smoke. "Ada, this is not normal," Amara whispered, her voice tight. "I know," Ada replied, her hands gripping the steering wheel until her knuckles turned white. "Lock your door." Before they could think of their next move, headlights flashed aggressively behind them. The van accelerated and suddenly swerved, blocking their lane. Tires screeched. Ada hit the brakes hard. The car jerked violently and came to a stop. "Jesus!" Amara screamed, clutching the dashboard. The van doors flew open. 4 men jumped out, rough faces, dark hoodies, gloved hands. One carried a metal rod, another a cutlass. The other 2 moved like men who'd done this many times before. "Stay inside," Ada whispered. "Don't come down." But the thugs were already marching toward them. One banged the side window with the rod. "Open this door now!" Ada's heart hammered in her chest. "What do you people want?" she shouted through the glass. The man smirked. "Small madams, your own Don Reach. Some big people no want make una continue this court case. Get down now." Amara's blood ran cold. So it was true. They were under attack because of the case. "Ada, if they get us, they might not just beat us. They might—" "Stop," Ada cut in sharply. "We're not dying tonight. Not after everything Mummy has survived. Not after all she sacrificed." The thug lifted the rod again, this time hitting the glass harder. A crack formed. "Open the door!" Amara's eyes darted around. Then she saw it. A patrol vehicle turning into the far end of the street, its lights still distant but visible. "Police," she whispered. "Look." Ada didn't waste a second. She slammed her hand on the horn continuously, blaring it non-stop into the night. The noise echoed through the street like a desperate alarm. The thugs panicked. "Stop that thing," one shouted, but it was too late. The patrol van noticed the commotion and increased speed. "Police, they come. Move," one thug shouted. Two of them ran back into the van. Another hit the glass one more time, this time shattering the edge. Ada flinched as pieces flew, but she didn't stop pressing the horn. The thugs scrambled into their van and sped away just as the police vehicle reached the junction. The officers quickly blocked Ada's car and jumped out, guns drawn. "What is happening here?" one of them demanded. Amara's hands were shaking as she rolled down the cracked window. "Officers! They attacked us," she stammered. "4 men. They just left in a black van. They were sent because of the case we filed." The officer's eyes narrowed. "Which case?" Ada swallowed. "The inheritance case against our uncles." The officer exchanged a knowing look with his partner. "Follow us to the station," he said. "You people are no longer safe." Back at the mansion, Agnes sat on the edge of her bed, murmuring prayers. "Lord, cover my daughters. Protect them. Don't let evil touch them. Don't let my story end in tears." Her phone rang. She snatched it up quickly. "Ada," she answered, breathless. "Mummy." Ada's voice came shaky but alive. "We're okay, but something happened." In seconds, the room spun. "What happened? Talk to me." "Mummy, some men attacked us tonight. They tried to block us on the road, but the police arrived and scared them off. We're going to the station now to make a report." Agnes felt the world tilt. "Jesus," she whispered, feeling faint. "My children. Somebody wants to kill you the way they killed your father." Amar's voice came through, stronger. "Mummy, listen to me. Don't be afraid. This confirms one thing. They are hiding something big, and we will find it." Back in Okafor's house, Obinna couldn't sit still. His mind replayed his brother's words over and over again. "I tampered with the brakes myself." He saw Cheki's laughing face. He saw Agnes crying with 2 little girls at the funeral. He saw the property they looted, the money they shared, the lands they secretly sold. He felt sick. When the news reached them that the police had interrupted the attack, Obinna almost collapsed from relief. "They escaped?" he asked. "Yes," one of the hired thugs replied over the phone. "Police show face. We know fit continue." Okafor exploded with rage. "Idiots! Useless fools! I will handle it myself." But Obinna wasn't listening anymore. His conscience was screaming too loudly. He had followed his elder brother like a blind goat for years, joining in his greed, silence, and cowardice. But now they were trying to kill the twins too? No, this had gone too far. For the first time in his life, Obinna made a decision. He would no longer protect his brother's evil. The next day, the twins sat in their office, faces serious, as they discussed the attack with a senior lawyer who had agreed to mentor them, Barrister 04. "You're dealing with desperate men," Barrister 04 said slowly, adjusting his glasses. "Men who have tasted stolen wealth for years and will not give it up easily." Amar leaned forward. "Sir, what if this is bigger than just the inheritance they took after Daddy died?" Ada nodded. "We found something. Old property records, dated even before we were born." They spread documents across his table. "These lands were once in Daddy's name," Ada explained, "but he signed them away to his brothers years ago, voluntarily, no court case, no force, at least on paper." Barrister 04 studied the documents. "Your father was loaded," he murmured. "He had land, shares in a company, and property rentals. This is more than we thought." Amara swallowed hard. "Sir, Daddy let some of his inheritance go for the sake of peace, according to an old neighbor. He gave in to keep the family united. But instead of appreciating him, they took more. They bullied him when he was alive and even worse when he died." Barrister 04 nodded slowly. "If he signed under emotional pressure or manipulation, we can still challenge some of these transfers, especially now that they've added attempted harm to the list. A court will want to hear everything." Ada looked up, eyes burning. "Then we're going all the way. We're not just reclaiming what they took after he died. We're going after everything they siphoned while he was alive." Barrister 04 smiled faintly. "Then get ready. This is no longer just a family dispute. This is a war." That evening, Obina arrived at the gate of the twins' law office. He stood outside for a long time, clutching his cap, sweating heavily, his heart beating as if trying to escape his chest. When the security guard asked who he was, his voice cracked. "My name is Obina. I am their father's younger brother. Please, I need to see them." They hesitated, but eventually allowed him in. When he entered the office and saw Ada and Amara sitting behind their desk, dressed in black suits, looking so much like Chicky and Agnes combined, his legs gave way. He dropped to his knees. "Please forgive me," he cried. "I have come to confess." The twins exchanged a look. "Uncle Obina," Ada said, stunned. Amara's expression hardened. "What do you want?" He wept openly. "All these years, I followed my brother's wickedness. I watched as we looted your father's property, as we insulted your mother, as we called you useless because you were girls. I kept quiet. I collected my share. I was a coward. But now blood is about to spill again." He looked up at them, eyes swollen. "Your father did not die by accident," he whispered. The room went silent. Ada's breath stopped. Amara's fingers curled into fists. "Then how did he die?" Ada asked slowly, her voice trembling. Obina swallowed. "Okafor killed him." The air in the office went still. The ticking wall clock suddenly sounded louder than thunder. Ada and Amara stared at Obina, unable to breathe, unable to blink, unable to decide whether to scream or sob. "Uncle," Ada whispered, "say it again." Obina wiped his tears with trembling hands. "Your father was murdered." A coldness spread through the room. The twins froze. Their lungs tightened. Their skin prickled. Amara stepped closer, her voice shaking with fury. "Explain! Now, Steve." Obina swallowed hard, his voice breaking as years of guilt poured out. "Chick was a good man, too good, too peaceful, too humble, and Okafor hated him for it, hated how people loved him, hated how he treated Agnes like a queen, hated that Chicky refused to let Agnes bow to him." Ada felt her hands shake violently. "What does that have to do with his death?" she asked through clenched teeth. Obina closed his eyes. "One night, years before Chicky's accident, Okafor asked Agnes to, he choked on the words. "To do what?" Amara demanded, her voice louder now, eyes burning. Obina finally forced it out. "Okafor wanted Agnes to sleep with him." Ada covered her mouth in horror. Amara's entire body stiffened. "Jesus," Ada whispered. Obina nodded miserably. "Agnes refused. And when your father confronted Okafor, he beat Chicky in public, humiliated him, insulted him. But Chicky didn't fight back. He walked away." Amara stepped backward, palm over her heart. "And because Daddy refused to let his wife be disgraced, Okafor killed him?" Obina nodded, sobbing. "Yes. The day before the accident, Okafor came home furious. He said he would teach Chicky a lesson he would never forget. I begged him to calm down, but he ignored me. He went to the mechanic workshop where Chicky serviced cars and bribed one of the apprentices to distract the workers." Ada gasped softly, horror filling her eyes. "He tampered with the brakes?" Obina nodded again. "He cut the brake line, just enough to work for a while, but fail on the road." Ada slowly sank into her chair, shaking intensely. Amara gripped the edge of the table, tears running down her face. "You knew," she whispered. "You knew, and you kept quiet." Obina collapsed fully on the ground, crying loudly. "I was scared. Okafor threatened me. He said if I talked, I would join Chicky in the grave. I am sorry. I am so sorry." His tears soaked the floor. Ada wiped her eyes roughly. "You knew our father was murdered," she whispered, voice cracking. "And you watched our mother suffer. You watched us starve. You watched as everything was taken." Obina lowered his head in shame. "I deserve punishment. Whatever you decide, I will accept." Amara stepped closer, voice trembling with rage. "You're right. You deserve it." Ada took a deep breath, forcing herself to remain calm. "Uncle Obina, you came to confess. Why?" Obina sniffed hard. Because yesterday, when Okafor sent those boys to attack you, I realized he would kill anyone who stands in his way. Even you, even his own blood. He shook his head, trembling. I can't keep quiet anymore. I have daughters too. What if one day he turns on them? I had to speak the truth, before more blood is shed. The twins exchanged a long look, a mixture of anger, disgust, and painful understanding. This was the first crack, and they were about to break the whole wall. Setting the trap, Barrister Ofor entered the room after receiving the twins' urgent message. When the full confession was repeated, he paced the office slowly. This confession is powerful, he said, but the court needs proof. Hard evidence, not just tears. We'll get it, Amara said, determination burning through her grief. Ada nodded. We need Okafor himself to admit everything. Barrister Ofor raised an eyebrow. And how do you intend to make a criminal confess? A dangerous smile slowly spread across Amara's face. We trap him. Ada leaned forward. We set him up with a girl. Barrister Ofor blinked. A girl? Yes, Ada said. A girl he will not suspect. Someone he will brag to. Someone who can record everything. Amara continued. Okafor is proud, arrogant. He believes he is untouchable. Men like him talk too much when a woman flatters them. Barrister Ofor nodded slowly, impressed. It might work, if done carefully. The twins already knew who could help. They contacted Kioma, a close friend from university. Beautiful, smart, bold, and an expert at undercover investigative work during law school. Kioma arrived the next day. You want me to trap a murderer? She asked. Yes, Ada replied. We want the truth. Kioma smirked. I'm in. The setup, Kioma dressed in a fitted red gown, looking effortlessly beautiful. They arranged to meet Okafor at a bar known for attracting corrupt men and loud talkers. Kioma approached him casually at the bar counter. Good evening, sir. You look familiar. Are you not the great Okafor I've been hearing about? Okafor puffed up instantly, pride swelling like an inflated balloon. You know me? Yes. Yes, I am Okafor. She smiled sweetly. People say you're one of the most powerful men in the community. Okafor laughed loudly and poured himself another drink. That is true. Do you know how much property I control? Even before my brother died, I already had land, money, company shares. Kioma leaned closer. Wow, you must be very strong. Even your brother's property became yours? Okafor smirked wickedly. That one was easy. Chike was too soft, too peaceful. A weak man. That's why I dealt with him. Kioma blinked. Dealt with him? Okafor laughed again, leaning closer in drunken pride. Yes, he insulted me. He refused to let Agnes obey me. That woman, that useless woman, thought she was special. I wanted her. She refused, so I finished her husband. I told him I would, and I did. He tapped the table proudly. I killed him with my own hands, tampered with the brakes myself. Kioma's heart raced, but her face remained calm. And what about the twins? He waved his hand dismissively. I tried to scare them, but police came. But no matter. I will end them soon. No girl child will challenge me. That was it, everything they needed. Kioma stood, dropping her bracelet deliberately. She pretended to pick it up, but in reality, she pressed stop on the recording device hidden inside it. Thank you for the drink, she said sweetly. She left the bar without looking back. Okafor didn't know he had just signed his own death warrant. Kioma arrived at the twins' office with the recording. They replayed it. Every word, every confession, every threat, every wicked victory he bragged about. Ada covered her face and wept. Amara bent over, shaking violently. Barrister Ofor clenched his fists. This man will rot in prison. The case had changed. This was no longer about inheritance. It was murder. And with enough information gathered, the police stormed Okafor's mansion and arrested him. He tried to resist, but then the police had enough evidence. He was charged to court immediately. The courtroom was packed. Journalists hovered at the back, microphones raised. Curious spectators murmured, eager to witness the case that had shaken the entire community. Lawyers whispered, judges adjusted their glasses, and police officers stood guard at every corner. But when Ada and Amar entered, dressed in black gowns, wigs perfectly placed, shoulders erect with the confidence of destiny, the room fell silent. They looked like warriors, not just lawyers, not just daughters, but the voice of a man who never got justice. Agnes sat in the front row, her hands trembling, tears already standing in her eyes. She whispered prayers with every breath. God, fight for my children. Fight for my husband. Barrister 04 joined the twins on the bench. Are you ready? He asked. They nodded without hesitation. Today we end it. The case begins. The judge struck the gavel. Call your first witness. Ada stood tall. Your lordship, the plaintiffs call Mr. Obinna Nwankwo to the stand. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Okafor's eyes widened. Obinna? You? He hissed under his breath. Obinna walked to the stand, head bowed, hands shaking, but his voice carried the weight of truth when he swore the oath. What do you know about the death of your elder brother, Mr. Cheki Nwankwo? Ada asked calmly. Obinna broke down immediately. My lord, my elder brother was murdered. The courtroom exploded in whispers. The judge hammered the gavel. Order, Ada continued. Who murdered him? Obinna lifted a trembling hand and pointed at Okafor. He did. My elder brother, Okafor Nwankwo, killed Chiki. Okafor leapt to his feet. Lies, your lordship. This man is insane. Sit down, the judge snapped. Obinna's confession poured out. Years of guilt, years of silence, years of fear. He spoke of the humiliation Chiki endured. He spoke of Okafor's disgusting demand for Agnes. He spoke of the threats. He spoke of the brake tampering. By the time he finished, even the spectators were wiping tears. Ada stepped aside. Your lordship, the witness has more, but the truth will be clearer with audio evidence. Recording Amar pressed play. Okafor's voice filled the room loud and shameless. I killed him myself, tampered with the brakes. He insulted me. Agnes refused to obey me. I told him I would deal with him, and I did. Gasps, screams, chaos. Even the judge froze mid-breath. Then another line played. I will end the daughters too. No girl child will challenge me. Every policeman in the courtroom turned toward Okafor. Barrister 04 stood. Your lordship, this is our Exhibit A, a clear and unedited confession of murder, attempted murder, inheritance theft, financial fraud, and threats. The judge turned slowly toward Okafor. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Okafor was shaking like a trapped animal. Your lordship, I was drunk. I didn't... Ada's voice cut through sharply. You were drunk when you threatened our lives too? The judge banged the gavel again. Silence. The final blow. The prosecution wasn't done. Ada presented stolen documents, land stolen before the twins were born, shares transferred illegally, sales made without consent. Amara presented receipts showing their father's hidden wealth. Wealth stolen slowly, year after year. Barrister 04 delivered the final words. Your lordship, this is not just a case of inheritance. This is a case of a wicked man who killed his own brother out of lust and envy. A man who abused tradition to oppress a widow. A man who attempted to kill these brave young lawyers when they demanded justice. This is evil, clothed in blood, greed, and shameless arrogance. The judge removed his glasses. I have heard enough from the verdict. Okafor Nwankwo, the judge said slowly, you are hereby found guilty of murder, conspiracy to murder, attempted murder, property theft, financial fraud, and intimidation. Okafor fell to his knees violently. No, I am innocent, please. The judge ignored him. You are sentenced to life imprisonment without possibility of bail. Take him away. Two officers dragged him from the courtroom as he screamed and kicked. Leave me! Agnes, please, help me! But Agnes did not even turn her head. For once, she felt no fear, no pain, only justice. The judge turned to Obinna. Your confession and cooperation spared you a harsher sentence, but justice must still stand. You are hereby sentenced to 8 years imprisonment for your role in the crimes. Obinna nodded through tears. I accept, your lordship. Other extended family members who benefited from the stolen property were called one by one and ordered to repay, return, or surrender assets illegally acquired. At the end, the judge turned to the twins. And as for you two, your father would be proud. Justice is served. The victory. Outside the courtroom, Agnes hugged her daughters as reporters crowded. "Mummy," Ada whispered, "we did it." Amara smiled through tears. "No more fear, no more hiding. Daddy can rest now." Agnes held their faces, tears falling. "My daughters, you have avenged your father. You have washed away my shame. God has used you to restore everything we lost." Ada nodded. "And it's not over. We will rebuild Daddy's company. We will reclaim every land. We will restore his name." Amar added softly, "And we will protect you for the rest of our lives." Agnes wept into their shoulders. For the first time in many years, her tears were not of pain, but of victory. Justice had finally come, and the daughters she once raised with hunger had become the warriors who saved her. Moral of this story: evil may hide for a season, but truth never sleeps. A mother's sacrifice can raise warriors, and justice always finds its way, no matter how deep the wicked bury their secrets. In the end, darkness cannot defeat children raised with love, courage, and purpose. Thank you so much for watching this powerful story of truth, courage, and justice. But now the question remains, do you think the battle is truly over? Will the twins be able to rebuild their father's company and restore every legacy he left behind? Or will new enemies rise from the shadows? If you want to see part 3, kindly comment, like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of this emotional journey. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.